Hello, my name is Keith Thompson. I'm president of Asheville Civitan Club this year. I'd like to invite each and every one of you to join us for the upcoming television series, Spirit of Civitan TV. It's going to be on URTV, and we're going to be covering some of the important issues affecting our community. We're going to be meeting some of the civic leaders who are making a difference every day in the lives of our community, and making things better for our children and grandchildren, making this a better place in which to live. So we hope you will be able to join us and watch our series as it comes forward. Thank you.
Welcome to the January 8th meeting of Asheville Civitan Club. And I'd like to start the meeting out in a little different way than normally have, but if everybody could stand, please, I'd like a moment of silence in memory of Charlie Johnson. Okay. Thank you all very much. We will miss Charlie, and I think of all the things I will miss is having Charlie sitting at that piano playing when we came in for lunch. That was wonderful, because haven't been a member that long, but there for a while, that was one of the highlights of our meetings when you came in and Charlie was on the piano. It was wonderful to have him there, and we will miss Charlie. Can we have our invocation?
I have some of my own. Okay, well, first of all, we're taping this for URTV. Hopefully we'll get it out there. We have a nice, fast turnaround from here on. We have a lot of programs coming up that will be taped. We're going to have a real exciting March, and I hope we continue to have a great turnout for these programs. Today's program was preceded in Monday's paper by an article about the I-26 overpass, which I emailed Joel, who wrote the letter, wrote the article, and he indicated that there were a number of that the headline did not represent what it was he was trying to say. So I hope we'll get some clarity on that today from Joe. And Joe is Mini Cozy, right? He kind of coached me on that. It's kind of a tough name for me. And he's from upstate New York originally, University of Miami for his architect degree. Went on to Harvard for his planning degree, which has of course, besides that's one of the, I think it's one of their real high-end degrees. And then has worked in government, real estate investment, and has been here in Asheville since 2003. So I'm hoping we'll have a great presentation today. Joe, welcome.
My name is Joe Minicozy. I'm on the board of directors for the Asheville Design Center. The Asheville Design Center was birthed out of a grant. We basically responded to the challenge of the American Institute of Architects, which asked its communities to come up with a project that would change its community for the next 150 years. They did this in celebration of the American Institute of Architects' 150th birthday, which was last year. So we innocently wrote a grant thinking, hey, we could apply for this. And it was to look at the I-26 project. And to our surprise, we were awarded the grant for $15,000, which basically started this process and started the nonprofit. For us, it's more than a highway, it's more than a bridge. This is our community, and it's an incredibly large area and an incredibly large impact on our community for many generations to come. For us, this is looking at the 10 principles of livability. Now, we're looking at a highway project, but just pick any one of these. We want to create neighborhood identity. Well, how do you create neighborhood identity with a highway? And that was our challenge. We opened the Design Center on September 29th, 2006. And we're physically located on Pritchard Park. This is kind of a hard map to see, but there's the little green arrow. We're right next to 10,000 Villages, or 2 doors down from Tupelo Honey. We're there every Wednesday night from 5 to 7, and we're there by appointment. And we have a virtual space. We have that webpage, AshevilleDesignCenter.org, and we try to keep all that information there. We have, our belief is as transparent a process as possible. So all of our decisions we do as a group. We have drawing nights where we pin up our drawings and talk through design, and these are open to the public. We have all of the maps of DOT pinned up on the wall. We have a model. We also bring this out to the community, and this probably should be updated. I'm up to about 80 group presentations. These are all groups around the community, and this is just in the last year. I like to joke that I'll start doing birthday parties and anniversaries if y'all want me at them. And it really is trying to get this information out to the community and let you all know what's going on. For us, this is more than a singular design program. Oftentimes in communities, you get a highway gets designed, and you live with a highway. And the highway just drops its way into the community. Now, I'll give you an architectural analogy. If I'm designing your house has systems. You have living spaces, eating spaces, sleeping spaces. You also have conduits. You have electrical conduits. You have plumbing. Cities are like a really big house plan. So if I have a city I'm designing, I should make it all work together. Imagine if you hired me as your architect and I just maximized your plumbing. And so let's go ahead and make the best plumbing system ever. Well, what about the rest of the house? You know, and this is what we do with cities all the time. We'll maximize that highway at the sacrifice of all the real estate adjacent to it and how it impacts neighborhoods, how it separates neighborhoods. And it's not to say don't do the highway, it's just make it fit in. So for us, this is the most important public development decision facing Western North Carolina in our lifetime. It has the opportunity to double downtown, and I'll just get past the words and show you the picture. This is downtown Asheville here, and we all know that Patton Avenue, as it leaves town, it actually turns into a federal highway for about a half mile, and then turns back into a local road again. This is something that as a community we've had to deal with for a number of years, and something that we've said continually needs to change. But look at the impact area in orange. It's a tremendous area, and it's a tremendous opportunity that's going to change our community for the next couple generations. I put this quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson at the top, which is, "You cannot see the mountain near." If we were to take a hike in the woods and just look down at the path the entire time, our experience of that hike would be dirt. But if you can step back and look away and see the mountains, your experience changes. So let's look outside of the highway for a second, and let's see it in context of our city. It's an incredible opportunity. And let's take an opportunity to plan. If you look at the original plan of Asheville from 1925, they actually were dealing with expansion of the community, but they were expanding Patton Avenue as retail out to West Asheville. They were considering bike paths along the river, as well as community parks along Bowcatcher, but they were seeing the whole city growth in context and in relationship to itself. We have to do this in the future of Asheville today. So these are my really sophisticated planning drawings of the DOT alternates that are on the table. The big orange circle represents conflict points. So on alternate number 2, you can see here that DOT's alternate number 2 took I-26, this red line, and connected north near UNCA, but they kept the existing condition of 240 and Patton Avenue on the Smoky Park Bridge the same. They did that again for alternate number 3, and then the community in the year 2000 said, "We don't like that, could you please change that?" So they came up with these 2 other alternates that separates 240 from Patton Avenue in both cases. So because the community said to DOT in 2000, "Please separate interstate and local traffic," we agree with that. We think alternates 2 and 3 should be off the table. And alternate 5 was removed by DOT back in September. So I'll ask you, how many alternates do we have? So let's look at that one alternate that's still on the table. This is the current interchange. And so Patton Avenue is running east and west here. They're taking the highway and pushing it behind Earth Fair and through the golf course at the Holiday Inn and swinging it north. And to kind of give you an idea of what that means from a land standpoint, this circle is the current interchange that we all live with off our tax base. That's all the land that's currently in DOT right-of-way. And what they're proposing from this solution is more than 7 times the existing land off our tax base. And it's funny, it's like we all saw this drawing back in October, but did anybody really notice the impact? Did anybody ever see that it's 7 times the land area off our tax base? We think that it's excessive. All the stuff that's in red are bridges, so there's a number of bridges through here. You know, in addition to the bridges across the river, there's a lot of bridges over land because of streams and topography, that there'd be a huge viaduct going through the golf course. There is a positive element, and that's on the east side of the river before Hillcrest. They take 240 and peel it northward. And we felt that that was an opportunity to help gain this land back out of our right-of-way and into our tax base, help connect Hillcrest into the community as opposed to being moated off from the rest of the world, and start to redevelop the west end of downtown into a true opportunity. So that's our proposal, is to basically say, here's DOT's proposal. That's all of the asphalt that they're proposing in blue. Again, here's Westgate Plaza. Here's the river. UNC Asheville is kind of off the map up here on the north. Here's the Riverside Cemetery. And we just basically made a straighter line. So that's a comparison contrast between their proposal and our proposal. We also have local connections, doing a connection between Emma Road and Riverside so that you don't have to get on a highway to cross the river. There are very few bridges north of the Smoky Park Bridge to connect our community. This is an opportunity. We also have this very sophisticated model made out of roofing foam. And here's the idea of our connection. And what we basically did is we put 240 on top of 26, hence the double-decker bridge. And this dotted line is the path that DOT wanted to take. Our goal was to basically minimize the footprint and try to do it as efficiently as possible. Our other goal was to make Patton Avenue local and make Patton Avenue the true boulevard that it wants to be. One of our ideas is that in downtown, here's Bowcatcher Cut. From Pack Square to Pritchard Park's a 2-minute walk. Most of downtown is a 5-minute walk from center to edge. Could you make Patton Avenue every 2 minutes? Could there be a new square or plaza? Could you make Patton Avenue the Champs-Élysées or something like that? And this is a way to rethink Patton Avenue. This is happening all around the country. This is in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and we actually purchased these images because we felt that it really conveyed Patton Avenue in West Asheville. This is, you can go any part of Patton Avenue and it kind of looks similar to this. And this is all with the smoke and magic of computers. What if you added wider sidewalks? What if you encouraged buildings to move up against the street? Could you change the context of Patton Avenue and make it grow up a little bit and become a true downtown to West Asheville? And in Fayetteville, they went so far as to steal our Vance Monument. But there it is there. But it's providing these visualization tools to the community that these are opportunities for us, but we have to articulate them and we have to fight for them. This could be Smoky Park Bridge. Once you removed Patton Avenue from it, you now have a lot of extra asphalt up there that you can add in sidewalks, bike lanes, bus rapid transit. You can do a lot of things to that bridge because it's over-designed for a local road. We're growing. Asheville's growing. Buncombe County's growing. We're expected to add 80,000 people by 2025. Where are they going to go? Do they all just go out into the county and do we sprawl out, or do we try to densify into downtown Asheville? Well, our master plan for our community actually calls for the project area to be a village. Now, how do you build a village if you're taking the whole area out with right-of-way? So we're trying to say, condense the highway and build some real estate close to downtown that provides housing opportunities. This building right here on the left is the building at the northeast corner of Merriman and Chestnut Street. It's a little apartment building. We all know it across from Deal Motor Car. If we were to build 300 acres of the project area with that building type, we would house 18,000 people close to downtown. Now, there's other benefits that go with that. There's people that drive less miles. They consume less kilowatts of energy. They produce less CO2. So urbanization of close to downtown areas actually has other environmental benefits to it. Now, if we took those same 18,000 units and developed in a suburban pattern out in the county, that would consume 40,000 acres. So the question to all of us as citizens is, how do we want to grow into the future? Are we going to sprawl out and consume as much land as possible and exhaust that resource? Or are we going to try to grow smartly into the downtown and densify? And that's one of the other issues we're bringing forward with this project area. Now remember, I'm talking about a highway. How does this area grow from a tax standpoint? We're all Buncombe County taxpayers. This is around the current per acre value to the county at tax base. It's currently paying about $5,000 per acre per year to the county. And what we're promoting is that if it does grow up a little bit, the far right here is a downtown property. It's actually this one right here across the street from Malaprops that pays $250,000 per acre per year to the county in tax base. And what we're hoping is that our project area may not be downtown, but it could be close. And so this is the benefit to having this real estate on our tax base and not just shoved off into right-of-way. We also do a lot of really exciting and boring numbers. We've analyzed a lot of different stuff, and this is what it breaks down to. Again, 5 is off the table now. But DOT is proposing 89 acres of asphalt and 273 acres of right-of-way at a cost of about $371 million. We're proposing less than half the acres of right-of-way, less than half the acres of asphalt, less than half the acres of right-of-way. So we're hoping that it's going to be less than half the cost. But that's in the current evaluation process right now with FIG Engineering. We feel that it makes our community more livable, it's more sensitive, it saves land, it saves time, which would hopefully save money. And the whole point for us, and an ongoing frustration after yesterday's headline, has been articulating that this is about land consumption. For us, these are the most important and critical points. When DOT came to present to our community in June, when they presented our alternate down here, you'll notice what they just talk about, construction costs. They didn't put in land value. They didn't put in future return on taxation. They didn't put in those other value points that help us make the decision, and it was terribly frustrating. And for us, the investment is in the land, and don't eliminate the location. We've learned from other communities, this is a house in San Francisco, and with some pretty awful looking trees in front of it, but notice how they sell this house. It's $16.5 million because it's got a view of the Golden Gate Bridge. The Golden Gate Bridge is just a highway across the bay. But because it's an engineering feat, because it actually has some aesthetic quality, it adds value back to the community. Greenville, South Carolina has figured this out. This is Greenville. This is their bridge through the downtown. It's the Reedy Creek Bridge. I highly recommend that y'all visit it. It's really cool. But it's encouraged a lot of development to happen nearby, that you can actually use infrastructure to add value to real estate. And Greenville's figured this out. It's on the Convention and Visitors Bureau website. It's on the city's website. It's on the parks website. And this is my favorite. It's on the History Tour logo. The thing was built 2 years ago. And it's part of Greenville's history. And for us, the location is pretty prime. Here's our location here. Again, here's Westgate Plaza. Here's Smoky Park Bridge. Here's DOT's proposal. All of their crossings are way up here. This is the real estate that would probably see the DOT's bridge, while in our impact, it's more real estate because of the topography. More people will see our location. So design needs to be really important. You know, why does the bridge have to be so boring? This is what we currently have. Now, I work in real estate right now, and I can tell you it's very difficult to sell a view of that bridge. This is the bridge that was originally proposed for the French Broad River back in the 20s. And you think of this bridge, if we had actually had this in our community today, what this would give back to our community. Aesthetics and engineering, the way that they get separated by DOT is they generally create a committee group to jazz up a bridge. So like here's the bridge, and DOT will select the bridge, and then they'll hire a committee or contract a committee to come up with the bridge color. Maybe you get a little sun symbol or a planter. But to me, and to folks in the design center, it's really not hitting the aesthetics of engineering. It's just pulling something off the shelf and gussying it up with paint. And this to me is no different than putting graffiti on a bridge. It's just, you know, oh, there's a roadrunner down here and a little sun symbol. But it's just the same bridge as some other off-the-shelf bridge. It's not truly engineered for the site. And how is that different? Design should really be for the location. We understand this through engineering. You look at a suspension bridge, and what's really beautiful about a suspension bridge is it's telling us what it's doing. It's taking the forces of gravity, pulling them up into the air, and then driving them down these pilings. And that's it. It's just form following its function. You look at bridges around the world, and they tell you this. This community in Bristol, England, they actually wanted to do a stone arch bridge over this gully until somebody walked outside and saw how deep that was, and they figured, well, that's a lot of stone. So they came up with this suspension idea. This gentleman here, Santiago Calatrava, has made his name as a world-renowned bridge designer. And when he went and designed this bridge, no one knew him. And he basically looked at the site and said, well, I've got rock on one side, I've got mud on the other. So notice what he does. He puts all of his engineering on one point. He lets the earth tell him what to do. And then he figured, well, if I'm suspending this whole thing, I could fill this steel box full of concrete and just lean it. And the whole thing just pivots on the rock. And it's the beauty of that engineering expression is because it's telling you what it's doing. There's no extra frou-frou to it. It's not painted pink, and it does its job. And in Charleston, they built this bridge, the Cooper River Bridge. They've got nice wide sidewalks with bike paths. And this bridge, they actually celebrated in its community. They have marathons across the bridge. It's on their logo materials for their community. And we need to have that same kind of signature quality for Asheville. Again, you'll see here that for the sake of purposes, we were trying to make a straight line, and we came up with this double-decker concept. And we're also talking about doing land bridges capping over the highway. And this is an example. Here's a highway right here, east and west through the slide here. And this is downtown Columbus, Ohio, and this is one of the in-town neighborhoods. And this is a bridge connecting the neighborhood to downtown. And with this bridge, they actually stuck buildings on it. So this is your experience walking over the highway. You don't need to see the highway. You just have these shops and restaurants, and it'd be even nicer if there were apartments above it. On the east side, we're looking at land bridges to connect the neighborhoods to the river. In the future of the Wilma Dykeman plan, there's going to be a greenway along here. Can you connect it with parks? In Duluth, Minnesota, they actually cap the park or the highway with a rose garden. It's actually an award-winning rose garden on top of a highway. They also have another park that has movies in the park at night. But the highway's happy. It does its job. And the community is none the wiser walking over it. In Seattle, they actually created a park that's kind of zipper-shaped that connects the downtown to the waterfront. And that park is a sculpture museum with some Calders and some Richard Serras. And not only does it go over a highway, which is right here, but it also goes over a massive train line that leads to the industrial waterfront. So all of the uses are taken into consideration in the design of the city. Now, there's a lot of language been given to the double-decker bridge. When we first came up with the concept, it was merely to be an end to making the smallest footprint possible. And DOT was contracted to kind of take a look at it, and this is how they designed it. This is their double-decker bridge. Here's 240 up here, and here's 26 down here. This is a cross-section cut through the bridge like a loaf of bread. And when we saw this in the presentation, we're just like, okay, you have 17 feet clearance from top slab to bottom of structure. That's okay. But why is it 37 feet from slab to slab? That means that the structure of this bridge is 20 feet thick. Is that really necessary? If we looked at bridges around the world, I mean, this is a bridge. Here's a bridge cut in half right now. That red beam is holding the bridge up. There's a human being. So this is the structure. So that structure is not 20 feet thick, unless that human is 19 feet tall. So how is it that our bridge is 20 feet thick in that situation? And basically it's because they pulled an off-the-shelf design and stuck one on top of the other. It wasn't engineered for the location. And it caused inconsistencies in the design that they can add value to the community. This is a double-decker bridge in Sweden that's about 2.5 times the span of the French Broad River here, and the structure is 7 feet thick on the upper deck. So they've done it elsewhere. Why couldn't our DOT solve that? The city and the county got together and anteed up $35,000 apiece and joined a team with our organization to hire a bridge engineer to engineer our double-decker bridge solution. Now, I mean, I don't know if I'm kind of downplaying this, but the city and county got together and put in money together on a project. And they really should be commended for stepping forward. It really was an amazing thing that the city basically anteed up right there in the meeting and said, we'll do $70,000. When the county found out about it, they said, oh, wait a minute, let us get involved. And it really made me feel great as a citizen that happened. They ended up hiring FIG Engineering. FIG was involved in a number of bridges. This is the one in the Bunker Hill Bridge in Boston that's part of the Big Dig. Again, it's on T-shirts and posters. When you go to Boston, it's their icon now. This is a bridge that they've built in the Natchez Trace. It was phenomenal when Linda was making her presentation to our community. She pointed this bridge out, as well as this bridge. We're all familiar with this one. This is the Lynn Cove Viaduct on the Blue Ridge Parkway. When they built this bridge, they invented that system that you see being used here, where they built the bridge suspending it off the existing bridge. And they patented it. And the way that she talked about and presented this bridge, she said, well, you know, when we were building this bridge, what we thought would be really nice was not cutting up the mountain and kind of building it in a way that was sensitive to the landscape, but also making it blend in as well as possible. So we cut a piece of the rock and figured out its iron content and mixed that iron into the concrete so it would blend in better. Then we invented a system of building the bridge and patented it. And it was really amazing. It's like it was always an opportunity for creative solutions. And they didn't see things as impediments or problems. And then she said that the National Endowment of the Arts gave 5 awards to bridges in their entire history for design merit. So 5 awards from the National Endowment of the Arts were ever given to bridges. 3 of those 5 awards went to FIG Engineering. And they're currently looking at our bridge. We're pretty excited about that. So this is the opportunity, not only to have a village this close to downtown, have a bridge that has some added value to the community. We're open every Wednesday at 5:30 to 7 at 8 College Street. We're also open by appointment. We'll take any appointment you want, and we'll do any presentation you'd like. We've put in, as a group, well over 3,000 man-hours in the last year on this project. We've dedicated ourselves as volunteers. Tom Gallagher's a fellow board member here with me today. We're very interested in seeing something good happen in this. Just to let you know, just to get back to this article that happened yesterday, the title of this article says, "Bridge Plan for I-26 Has Flaws." That is completely inaccurate. The engineer hasn't released their report yet. I think they're releasing it or submitting it tomorrow. And that will be a presentation to City Council next week. Best that we know from their presentation that they haven't found flaws in the design, that it is actually working out along the alignment that we proposed. And I'll leave you with this last slide, which is a postcard from Asheville. And it's a postcard of a bridge that we used to have in West Asheville connecting Haywood to Clingman Avenue. And there was a time when we could put our bridges on our postcards and say, come visit Asheville, look what we have here. And that's at a basic level, that's what we should strive for, and all of our engineering and infrastructure in our community should be good enough to be put on a postcard. And thank you.
I got an email back from Joel, who wrote the article, and he said, to be honest, I think the headline emphasized the wrong thing. Nothing incorrect, but the gist of what I was trying to say was this. Number one, the double-decker design won't work. I'll go on to the others, but can you answer that?
Sure. When we met with the engineer, the contract was basically, DOT pointed out 9 concerns that they had for this design when they presented that bridge design that I showed you earlier. And when we looked at it, we said, well, wait a minute, those are just concerns, they're not flaws. They can be solved. Let's hire an engineer to solve these concerns. And our solution was a double-decker bridge. To be honest with you, if that turns into a side-by-side bridge, we generally don't care, as long as it's signature in nature and as long as it minimizes the footprint and follows a similar alignment. So from our perspective, they're the bridge engineer. If they think it should be a different bridge typology, wonderful. Thank you.